Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan. In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
You know, there's a running joke in America that never seems to get old. Every election cycle, celebrities line up to announce they're leaving the country if a Republican wins. And yet, surprise, surprise, they never actually leave. Not once. Not a single one of these dramatic declarations has turned into a packed suitcase and a one-way ticket out of here. Take Miley Cyrus, for example. Back in 2016, she swore up and down that if Donald Trump became president, she was gone. Out of here, moving abroad. She even said, "I don't say things I don't mean." Well, fast forward to now, and where do we find her? Sitting front row at the Grammys in Los Angeles. Not exactly hiding out in Tajikistan. Honestly, if that's her version of exile, I wouldn't mind trying it. And Miley isn't alone. Eddie Griffin said he was heading to Africa if Trump won. Guess what? 4 years went by and the man barely made it out of Van, New York. George Lopez once joked that if Trump won, he wouldn't have to worry about deportation. He'd just go back. Spoiler alert, George is still here, still working, still cashing checks. It's always the same script. Loud proclamations, headlines, applause from their fan base, then crickets. Not a single moving truck in sight. Now, let's pause here. Do you notice the irony? These are the same people who lecture us endlessly about morality, fairness, justice, and what's wrong with America. They scream that this country is a dystopian nightmare. But when push comes to shove, they're not going anywhere. Because deep down, they know what we all know. For all its flaws,
Maybe the problem isn't that America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it. "59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good, like after NBC canceled The West Wing."
And that's exactly the point Bill Maher
was making in his latest takedown of woke celebrities. And let me tell you, it was brutal but hilarious. Ma didn't just poke fun at the hypocrisy. He shredded it. He called out this parade of spoiled celebrities who pretend that leaving the U.S. will be some noble act of resistance, when in reality it's just theater. Nothing but performative nonsense for social media clout. Think about it. They say they're leaving because they can't live in Trump's America. But where exactly are they planning to go? Russia? Where you can literally go to prison for calling the Ukraine war a war.
Russia, just referring to the war in Ukraine as a war can get you 15 years in the fabulous prisons made famous by some of the world's most famous novels. You think America's evil because we didn't nominate Margot Robbie for an Oscar? Just wait till you get thrown out the window of your very own dream house.
China, where 50 different crimes carry the death penalty. Uganda, where you can face execution for being gay. Or maybe Venezuela, where speaking against the government can get you detained indefinitely. They're not packing up for any of those places because the truth is their version of suffering in America is attending the Grammys instead of the Golden Globes. Or, brace yourself, not winning an Oscar. Boo-hoo. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is literally risking life and limb to come here. That's not a coincidence.
Uganda? Oh, they don't just give you a ticket for parking in the rear. You can get the death penalty for it. In China, they have the death penalty for almost 50 crimes. And in 13 countries, atheism is punishable.
But let's be real. If America is so awful, why is everyone else fighting to get in, not out? And that's the question nobody seems willing to answer. If this country is really the nightmare TikTok activists and woke celebrities say it is, why do millions of immigrants risk everything just to set foot on U.S. soil? Why do people float across oceans, crawl under fences, and wait years in line for a chance at American citizenship? You don't see people lining up to sneak into North Korea or Venezuela. You don't see them fighting to move to Saudi Arabia, where women can't even choose their own clothing. But you do see caravans of people desperate to get into the so-called horrible United States. That alone should shut down the argument. Here's what Maher really exposed. The problem isn't America. The problem is entitlement. A lot of people today are so blinded by privilege that they have no perspective. They live better than 90% of the planet, but still complain as if they're prisoners in some dystopia.
TikTok's telling Americans things like,
I think the new American dream is to leave.
I'm 18 years old and I escaped America.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to escape America. That wall we're always debating isn't to keep you in.
Take the LGBTQ plus community, for instance. Yes, there are still issues here. Nobody's denying that. But compared to the rest of the world, America is their safest haven. In over 60 countries, being gay is illegal. In several, it can literally get you killed. In America, you have pride parades, legal protections, media representation, and the freedom to marry whoever you love. Yet, some activists claim they need to escape this oppressive nightmare. Escape to where? Europe, where hate crimes against LGBTQ plus people are still rampant. Africa, where dozens of countries criminalize homosexuality. It's delusion wrapped in privilege.
And 61 imposed restrictions on women's clothing, so bring a scarf. According to Amnesty International, paramilitary groups killed the government's critics in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and arbitrary detentions are widespread in Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Nicaragua. If you're wondering how that's just like no cash bail, it's not.
The New Republic just ran a story about the vulnerable minorities who want to flee America, including the author, a gay man trapped in the dystopian homophobic hellscape that is New York City. I wonder if he knows that there are 66 countries where just being gay is a crime. Cute story in the news last month. Bundy's president called on his citizens to stone gay people, and not in a good way. Wow. Suddenly, the Don't Say Gay law doesn't sound all that bad. And this is the heart of Maher's takedown. America has problems. Yes, we're 54th in infant mortality, 19th in literacy, 72nd in female political representation. The list goes on. But the solution isn't whining on Twitter, threatening to leave, or staging dramatic protests that block traffic. The solution is work. Real, hard, unglamorous work. Rolling up your sleeves and fixing what's broken instead of throwing tantrums every time an election doesn't go your way. Because here's the cold truth. Real patriotism isn't about waving a flag when your side wins and booking a flight when your side loses. Real patriotism is sticking around when things get tough. It's about wanting to fix America, not abandon it.
The New Republic just ran a story about the vulnerable minorities who want to flee America, including the author, a gay man trapped in the dystopian homophobic hellscape that is New York City. I wonder if he knows that there are 66 countries where just being gay is a crime. Cute story in the news last month. Burundi's president called on his citizens to stone gay people, and not in the good way. Wow, suddenly the Don't Say Gay law doesn't sound all that bad.
And let's be brutally honest. Most celebrities wouldn't last 5 minutes in the real struggles everyday Americans face. They don't know what it's like to lose sleep over a mortgage, to stretch a paycheck until the end of the month, or to wonder if medical bills will sink your family. Their version of struggle is deciding whether to fly private or first class. That's why their political lectures ring so hollow. They live in a bubble disconnected from reality, and yet they feel entitled to tell the rest of us how we should live. Sorry, but no thanks. The hypocrisy doesn't end there. These same people who bash America for being so horrible are also the ones insisting we throw open our borders to immigrants. Wait a second. If America is so awful, why invite more people in? Why encourage others to come suffer in this?
Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America sucks list. Things like being 54th in the world in infant mortality behind Cuba, 19th in literacy behind Russia, 72nd in female representation in government behind Iraq. A lot of work to do here. And is it possible for a country to lose itself so much that leaving it is justified? Yes, but we're not there yet, not by a long shot. And we don't need quitters. We need people who will stay and fix it.
The contradiction is glaring. If America really is a hellhole they describe, wouldn't the moral thing be to warn people away, not drag them in? It doesn't add up unless you realize it was never about principle. It's about optics. It's about attention. It's about clout. And that's why Maher's takedown resonated, because he stripped away the theatrics and exposed the truth. These celebrity resistance statements are nothing more than virtue signaling. They want applause, not accountability. They want to look brave without making a single real sacrifice. But here's the part that gets me every time. Despite all the whining, all the TikToks, all the Grammy speeches, and all the celebrity declarations, when the cameras turn off, they stay. Every last one of them. Because no matter how much they complain, they know the truth. There is nowhere better. So here's the takeaway. America isn't perfect. Far from it. But it's still the best shot humanity has at freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. That's why millions of people dream of coming here. That's why they risk everything to cross oceans and borders. And that's why the loudest complainers, no matter how much they claim to hate it here, never actually leave. So the next time you hear some celebrity threaten to abandon the U.S. if things don't go their way, just remember they're bluffing. They'll be right here tomorrow sipping lattes in Beverly Hills, living a life most people on Earth could only dream of. And maybe that's the real joke. They don't hate America. They love it. They just love the sound of their own voices more. So what do you think? Should celebrities just zip it and stop pretending they're martyrs? Or do you think they actually believe the stuff they say? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm curious if anyone takes these threats seriously. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from. Because at the end of the day, America isn't a nightmare. It's the dream. And the people threatening to leave, they're the punchline.
You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave? And I see conservatives in Texas are talking secession again. They have 2 bumper stickers in that state. America, love it or leave it, and we're leaving it.